Hello and welcome. I am Briar Harvey. This is the Neurodiversity Media Network, and this is the Voices of Neurodiversity. Today it's just my voice. So, today I'm going to be talking about my new program. It begins March 6th. The price point is $1,000 with payment plans available, and it is called Neurodivergent Families. So, all good transparency and marketing out of the way, I want to tell you about this program, why I'm excited about it, and what it's going to become, I think. One of the questions that I get asked most frequently is how I manage my life and my business with a neurodivergent partner and with neurodivergent children. And we are 3 for 3 in terms of neurodivergent children. All three of them have different diagnoses. My husband and I are both neurodivergent. So there's a lot of stuff going on in our home and in our lives. And there are a lot of sensitivity levels to manage. There are a lot of doctors. There are a lot of moving parts. And it can feel incredibly overwhelming. My oldest child is 21. She's an adult. She's out in the world and has a full-time job. My middle child is 11. He has ADHD. My oldest is autistic. My youngest is 5. He has autism and probably ADHD as well. We've got this whole mess of diagnoses and things going on, and we homeschool. So there's a lot of balls in the air. There's a lot of things that we're managing. There's always things going on and that we are doing and trying to manage together as a family. And so one of the things that I have learned on this journey is how to practically be an advocate for my needs, my partner's needs, and my children's needs. And at various and different times, these needs can be astonishingly overwhelming. And it's always a balancing act, being able to figure out who needs what most, who needs to be highest priority, and how do we accommodate everyone else's needs so no one is forgotten or left behind. Now, I really cannot emphasize enough that these are skills that we develop over time. The steps it takes to figure out how to make accommodations for everyone's needs, how to document this process, how to be clear about advocating for ourselves and our children, and what the language is that we're using. So this program starts on March 6th. There is a private support group in Heartbeat. There is a weekly lesson and then either bi-weekly coaching sessions or group teachers. It's 8 weeks overall. I want you to be able to participate and not feel like you're always behind. I don't want it to be overwhelming because everything else in your life right now is often overwhelming. So let's break down a little bit about what we're going to be learning. First, we're going to talk about the vocabulary of neurodiversity, and this lesson is in pretty much every class I teach right now. You cannot advocate for yourself if you do not have the words to explain what it is you need. And that's true for you, your partner, and your children. So we're going to talk about very specific words and diagnoses and the things that go along with that. We'll talk about rejection sensitive dysphoria. We'll talk about pathological demand avoidance. We'll talk about how to explain these conditions to other people so that you can properly advocate for yourself and your children. We're going to talk about the impact of neurodivergence on family dynamics and how to create those accommodations for everyone. We're going to talk about how your needs and someone else's needs might be in conflict and how to balance all of those things out. We're definitely going to address the potential stigma and discrimination that you and your children may face, especially in medical situations and in schools. I want you to be able to advocate for your kids in whatever situation arises so that you have a truly firm foundation to land on and support your kids as their needs develop and evolve. Next up, I want to talk about how you build and maintain a support team. This is especially true if there are issues in your larger family of origin. Often, people who are diagnosed later in life end up having relationships with their families of origin that are very fractured. In some cases, it involves cutting people out entirely. Which means then that when you have children, you have no external support structures. So we're going to talk about how to structurally build those things with or without family so that you have people that you can call in an emergency. We're going to talk about how to design and create your own personal village so that you have people to call in a crisis. And finally, we're going to talk about how to create rituals of care. Those are for you, they're for your partner, they're for your kids, they're for your intertwined relationships. So, how are you cultivating rituals of care for each of your children, for your partner? How are you building things structurally in a way that allow you to develop these relationships on everybody's best terms? What's key here is that when you are neurodivergent, you think differently. You also likely communicate differently. You have different spatial and sensory needs. You have things that have felt challenging to you in the past, things that have been points of conflict or friction in your relationships with your partner, in your relationships with your children. And while we are learning how to reparent ourselves, we also have to go forth and apply those skills to our current relationships. So, we're really going to talk about how to build these things in a very fundamental, organic way so that they just become part of the fabric of your daily life. Whether we're talking about autism or ADHD, what we know is that we thrive on not necessarily routine, but ritual. We thrive on things having patterns of sameness. And so we're going to try and build in sameness into your life and your family structure so that everyone feels seen, heard, and supported. Again, we'll build this out together over 8 weeks. There's a weekly short form lesson that is video, audio, or written. You can take it in however you need to. There is biweekly coaching sessions with me so we can troubleshoot specific problems that you're having, and you can submit questions ahead of time and watch recordings. None of this has to be done live if that is not a convenient time for you. Again, we're trying to build in ease, foundational joy, and peace, because more than anything else, those are the things that make having a neurodivergent family functional. The more security we can build in at the ground level, the happier everyone is long term. And so we're also going to be talking on the off weeks with people who have been there and done that with their own families and have found ways to support themselves in an incredibly holistic and healing way. The moment, my guest list includes Kimberly Shepard, who's going to talk to us especially about that period of young adulthood and transition. We're going to talk with Faith Clark and her kids. So you're going to get to see what it looks like when you have adult neurodivergent children and how to manage the household, even if perhaps they're never leaving. We're also going to speak with Julie Lieberman Neal and possibly her son Ryan, so that we can see another shining example of neurodivergent adulthood. It's valuable to be able to see the people who have gone before us and who are managing to make this work, even with all of these struggles that we face as neurodivergent families. Finally, I've got a panel discussion coming, and this isn't fully shaped out yet, but I have at least 3 people who are going to come and talk about parenting and what it looks like and how to fully flesh out those daily routines and structures that make our kids feel supported. Ultimately, that's what this is about: safety, support, structure. And I want you to be able to build those things into your life and into your home with as much peace as possible. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. This is, again, an 8-week program. It is $1,000. There are payment plans available. I really encourage you to come and join us if you feel like things are a struggle. If you're not sure how to make your family life functional, if it feels like you're dropping all of the balls, please come and see us. We would love to support you in this journey and in your growth. I will be back around in the next couple of days to address any questions. Let me know if you are watching this via replay. Obviously, you can find us here at the Neurodiversity Media Network.com soon, soon. And we are available to answer questions. Just contact us. It's team@briarharvey.com. You can find me on Facebook. Just shoot me a message. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to support you on this journey of supporting your family. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day.